Hello again, everybody. Welcome to some Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Whis. I am one of your players for today, and I am going to be playing a Twinksicle, which is great. I haven't played him in a while. And joining me, I have a very wonderful D&D buddy with me today. Do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi, it's JayJay, and I'm gonna be playing the watermelon flavored boombox, who I also haven't played in a very long time. So I didn't forget about them, I swear.
I just realised that the markings on JR's pants is like watermelon. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's like it watermelon pants.
Love that. I love that. Um, all right. Well, we are starting this FPS in the middle of a forest somewhere. How did JI end up here?
I doubt that even they know that because they do this thing where they just kind of wander into situations. And sometimes it's nice, and sometimes it gets them in trouble. So,
Yeah, fair. Um, well, do you want to start this off with a survival? I think that could be
oh,
funny.
oh, good. I don't know what any of JR's stats are. Let's find it. Okay, it's a positive stat, so that's not horrible. Wow. Maybe I didn't throw their luck out the window yet.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh dear, oh dear. All right. Well, with a dirty 20, um, you're making your way through these woods, and you're definitely not getting turned around, which is great. You're not too far from Toontown, you reckon. And you're able to negotiate through the trees, and then you can sort of. It's kind of like hearing something, like a little bit of like a wind chime almost, ever so slightly drifting on the breeze ahead of you, and a slight pale blue glow.
Hmm. Well, their first thought is that this is kind of weird, but it's probably not the weirdest thing they've ever seen. Um, they're, I think they're gonna just tilt their head at it a little bit and then just follow the sound rather than following the glow.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, they've got no troubles doing that whatsoever. And after a little while, they come to this break in the trees, and there is a small building here. It's, let me see, how tall is JR? Probably about torso height, like mid chest at its highest point. And
Okay.
it kind of looks like a small Japanese sort of themed shrine with some closed doors at the front and a nice curved roof. And it's made of this white, pale blue sort of timber with some carvings and whatnot in it. And it's looking out over this nice little clearing where there's a hill with a little goat track path and there's some water nearby. It's all very picturesque and beautiful. But as JR gets close, it becomes immediately apparent that the sound and the glow kind of fade out. Like its only purpose was to go, "Hi, I'm here," and they're okay. You're here now. I'll be quiet, kind of thing.
Okay. Um, I will ask, is the wood just naturally that color or does it look painted like that?
It is not painted.
Okay. Um, the first thing I think JR wants to do means that I have to roll hammer space, please. Cool. I didn't fumble. So they're gonna reach literally into like the top of their shirt, like through the neck hole, and they're gonna pull out what looks like a very it's like a small and sort of beat up and weathered notebook, and there's a little pen with it, and they're just gonna start like looking up and then looking down and scribbling something and then looking back up and then scribbling something else. They do this for a little bit before actually closing the book and walking further into the clearing.
All right. Do you want to do me a perception?
Yeah, once I figure out what it is. Uh-oh. Wow.
18. All right, that's pretty dang good. JR's on a roll. All right, so
Somehow. I won't hold my breath. My luck hasn't been this high in a long time.
oh well, we won't look a gift horse in the mouth. All right, so as you get closer and go into the clearing, there are all these flowers that have been planted around this shrine, and the two little doors at the front are closed, but you reckon it's the kind of one where there's probably loads of these in Tezza Canada sort of region if JR's ever been there.
Yeah.
Mm.
At one point or another, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the front of this shrine, like underneath the eaves of this nice curved roof, there is a symbol that's made up of music notes, and as they walk past the shrine and get closer, they can see that on the roof of it there are carvings on the roof too, and it's sort of using the shape of the boards that it's made out of, and then there's some carvings, some vertical carvings to make it look like a music stave.
Oh, okay. So that piques their interest 100%.
And there is also just outside, there's a little clear area where there's no grass and no flowers. And there is a circle that's been marked into the ground, and it is glowing that same pale blue glow. And because that was an 18, as you're taking all of this in, there is somebody who comes over the hill, approaching from behind you.
I think, huh. I'm trying to debate whether or not they're just going to keep looking at this cool little shrine or if they're going to turn around to see who. I think after like a minute, like once the person has like actually made it into the clearing, that's when they'll turn around and see who it is.
All right. You are being approached by a Frankenali toon who is about up to your shoulder height, with blue and white hair and a white and blue outfit. And he's looking at you a little bit confusedly, like he doesn't normally have company out here. That's only really happened once before, and that filled him with so many questions. So many questions. But he is looking at you confusedly as he approaches, but he doesn't like look hostile or anything, and he stops a bit of a distance away. Good morning.
Hi! And they'll like full arm like wave.
That'll make him smile a little bit. What brings you out here? It's not exactly a high traffic area.
Whoa, I can't tell if my mic is picking me up on Discord or not because it picked me up on OBS and then it didn't on Discord. I love when that happens. Jara's kind of like, I was kind of wandering around in the woods and then I heard a nice sound and followed it here. So I'm here now.
Fair enough. What kind of sound, if I may ask?
It kind of sounded like music.
Oh, that's not a surprise, given what this place is.
They kind of tilt their head at that. It's very apparent that they have no idea what this place is. They have no idea what you're talking about.
He's just gonna get a little bit closer and um, pluck a few weeds out from between the flowers and shove them in his hammer space, for lack of a better place to put them, because he didn't think about that at the time. And then just sort of pull the little doors of the front of the shrine open. And there's a few things in there. There's a music book. There's a music stand that's all folded up and stuff. And like a bowl and things like that.
Mm-hmm. I think JR will just like watch him intently. Like they're not they're an airhead, but they're not completely stupid. They are aware that this is a shrine to some sort of deity. That's usually who shrines are out to. So they are concerned and also very curious.
He's gonna get the music book out and the music stand, and then just sort of look at his new tall company. I don't suppose you know what this is.
Nope.
All right. Well, it's not a surprise either. This is a shrine to the soundtrack.
They tilt their head again. The soundtrack?
The world's music. A bard's boon. A god of music.
You can like see the gears turning in their head because actually go ahead and roll insight
Sure, I can do that.
because this is a game where we roll dice.
This is a game where we roll dice. Alright. Well, that was not super high. That makes sense because you've only just met this person, but your insight is nice and high. So what's that? That is a 14.
Nice. Okay. So you get that like this is the first time that this radio of all things is hearing of the soundtrack, which I'm assuming to you does not seem like much of a surprise. But you also get the feeling that on top of having never heard of the soundtrack before, it sounds how do I word this? It sounds like something they've thought of before but have never actually encountered.
He gives a little bit of a smile and sets up the music stand and then puts the music book on top of it and then offers a hand in like a handshake sort of motion. First things first. My name is Chifley. And yours?
They will take his hand in not a crushing grip, but it's very strong and it's very excited, and they will just shake you.
I love doing strength saves for my twink. I love it when my twink rolls low on a strength save. That is an 8 on the dice, and you have a -2. That is a 6.
I am so sorry.
I think as JR is doing this handshake, like there is not quite a complete full body blur out of this poor Frankenali, but like there is some blurring and some shuddering of his frames, and your hand feels really cold for a hot second there. If you excuse the phrase. So like your hand gets super duper cold as you're getting through this very enthusiastic handshake. And you now have this sort of dazed Frankenali standing in front of you, and his hair is turned a little bit white.
Oh no. See, the problem is that JR has no thoughts, head empty, and pays not any of this any sort of mind. They pay no mind to the fact that they just obliterated this twink with a handshake. And just
wonderful.
They just full on shake his hand and go, I'm JR, it's nice to meet you.
The pleasure is mine. And he kind of just rotates his arm a little bit and flexes his hand. And have you... I assume you haven't heard of the soundtrack before by any name. You look like you might appreciate their particular enthusiasms, though. If I'm understanding your
tilt their head again
correctly.
They tilt their head again. Like they don't know what that means.
You can roll an intelligence or an insight or something like that if you like.
I can try. I'll roll an insight because it's better, but only by a little bit.
Every little bit counts. That is a 7. That is a whole ass 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, JR, you don't know what this guy means. What the hell is that supposed to mean? What does he look like? Does he look like a hobo? Is he dirty? What's wrong? What's wrong with how he looks? What's with how they look? Sorry. Oh, jeez. What do you mean?
This would not be the first time that they have been like that someone has called them weird for the way that they are shaped. However, they're just like, what do you mean? Like they don't care. They do not care that he may or may not have meant it as an insult. They're just like, what do you mean?
Chifley's turned to tilt his head to the side ever so slightly. I may not be very familiar with tunes like you, but you appear to be part radio.
Is not picking me up. This is my favorite thing. JR like proudly proclaimed that they are a boombox.
Well, then music seems like it could be your thing.
So I'm in a band.
Oh. Where were they?
I don't know.
I see. Yeah. Familiar, actually. Well, if you're here, you're welcome to play with me, if you'd like.
I think my headphones are now also messing up. Chifley asked if JR wanted to play music, right?
Yep.
Okay. That is gonna need to do another one of these. Okay, I didn't fumble again. Great. Okay. JR reaches into the top of their like the neck hole of their shirt again, and pulls out and unfolds it looks like a keyboard, but it's got a lot of buttons along the top of it, and it unfolds, so it's supposed to be like it's essentially a portable like keyboard / synthesizer.
Oh, fantastic. Chifley is immediately going to be inspecting this instrument. I'm just going to roll him an investigation just to be like, ooh, cool. He hasn't seen one of those fall down before. Okay, that's not very great. Your investigation is bogus, but whatever. You're just excited because this person just pulled...
That was neat.
This person just pulled a synth out of their shirt. Like, yes, tunes, but still. What's your investigation? It's +1. Okay, so that's a 10. Great. So it's average. So, like, Chip's just very excited. And he gives it a few experimental little tippy taps on the keys, and it plays a nice you know, a nice major chord with his right hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which
Mm-hmm.
one. A chord. And JR can see him sort of grinning a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice.
JR just sort of beams at this.
It's not the kind of instrument I play, but my sister quite likes electronics.
Play.
All I heard was the sound that sounded like pleh.
Ah, great. I
I
love my
assume there
mic.
was like a "what do you play" in there somewhere.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. That's exactly what they said.
Oh
To
dear.
my recording, I wish I knew what was going on with my mic. This has been happening for like 3 days now. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Boo. All right. Time for Chifley to roll a hammer space. Where is your D10, sir? That one. Cool, you didn't fumble it. That's a 5. Great. So he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out this lute, and it's a kind of a gold copper kind of color of the frame, with a couple of music notes carved into the body of it, and he just gives it a little bit of a pluck of the strings, and it makes a did I say lute? I meant lyre.
You did say lute, and I was
yes.
like very confused. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but
Yeah,
I might be
no.
misremembering.
I don't know why I said lute. It just sort of trickled back into my brain. It's like, you said lute. That's the wrong word. You mean a lyre. You mean a tiny ass harp. I'm tired.
I was picturing it right in my head. It's okay. I had the right instrument in my head.
Oh, I am
great.
not
It's
not
fine.
caffeinated, obviously.
Oh,
Anyway,
I
yes.
relate so hard.
It is a lyre. It is a tiny harp type thing, not a lute. Lutes are different. Yeah.
Jared's eyes do light up because I would assume that they. I'm sorry, I looked in the gallery. Lutes are what you get after raids. Yeah. Um, where was I going with this? Oh, their eyes sort of light up because I assume that they have seen one of these before. Whether or not they have been allowed to handle it because they are klutz is beyond me. So. But they do think that this is very cool.
I'm not sure how the lyre and your synthesizer would go together. I don't think I know any songs that have those two in combination, but I'm sure we can figure something out. And
JR will nod enthusiastically and turn on the synth. That obviously doesn't make any like actual noise yet because they aren't doing anything yet. But
Chifley is now sort of looking contemplative and looking at JR with this very contemplative look on his face. I think the synth does suit you, though. It's in your theme.
to clarify, that's JR asking Chifley what, not me asking what you said.
Well, I didn't hear it anyway.
Oh, there were like, okay, so Avi did like a test run earlier, and then literally everybody except one had like some sort of technical difficulties, and we made the bit that the tech problems were just spreading, and now it's coming for me, and I'm like, I didn't even participate in that. I just sat there.
Oh dear.
Holy jeez. JR asked Chifley, what did you mean that it's in my theme? God.
Chifley's just gonna smile, and he makes this little circle movement with one finger. Everyone has a theme. The soundtrack writes them specifically for us. And I think I can hear synth in yours.
You can roll insight.
I will roll insight. I will also stop my cat from getting on the desk. No, no, you're adorable, but no. Oh, hey, there we go. That's more like you, Chifley. That is no, not plus an 89, plus an 8. Thank you. That is a 25.
Whoa. Okay. So you very clearly can tell that like when you say that everyone has a theme, um it's, I don't know if you can tell it from their expression or what. You can tell that that in and of itself is something that JR fully believes in, that like everyone and everything has their own theme, but they didn't know that there was like a god or like a being that did that. They just believed that that was a thing
Oh,
without knowing what the soundtrack was.
oh, concurrent. Like what is it? Parallel convergence or something like that, where they evolve the same way. Thought processes that evolve the same way without the same stimuli.
Something like that.
Yeah. I knew what I meant. It's not what I said, but anyway.
I know what you meant, but I don't know what the short form, like what the word is.
Yeah. Like Chif can get a lot of this from JR's expression, but also a lot of it comes out in their theme as well.
Yeah.
And what does JR's theme sound like?
So I do imagine that there is like synth in it. There's also hints of piano, hints of like a, oh, I'm forgetting what it's called, a stylophone, and a couple other instruments. It's kind of not bouncy, bubbly. That's the word that I'm looking for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Chifley gives a smile at that, and he gives a little tap to the side of his head, just on his ear. Followers of the soundtrack can hear everyone's theme, and places have themes too. Here is a very, very calm, quiet kind of theme, peaceful, to go with the surroundings. And in your theme, I can hear synths, I can hear so many different instruments, and it tells me a lot about you.
They've just gone like star-eyed at the concept, like that this thing that they believed in is like actually a thing that like someone can hear. That's so fucking cool to them. Like, what does your theme sound like?
Mine is violin and piano, and an instrument I don't have a name for. It's something like a flute, but maybe a glass flute with an echo.
You can like, you don't have to roll insight again. You can practically like see the gears in JR's head trying to turn to picture what it might sound like.
There is a way that I could help you hear them, if you wanted.
You can do that?
I'm a cleric of the soundtrack. It's something that they taught me.
I'm like, JR is not giving me any words. They're just sort of like bouncing up and down very rapidly.
No thoughts, only joy.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, bless them. Okay. Where is your D10 again, Chifley? We need to go back into your pockets. Yep, that's a 7. That is not a 1. All right, he's gonna reach into his pockets and he's gonna pull out this stick that's about 30 centimeters long, also, which
Mm-hmm.
JR will recognize as like a conductor's baton.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll move over to the glowing circle that's in front of the shrine, and
Mm-hmm.
he'll start using the baton to draw some shapes inside this circle, not really filling it, but more making a border inside it. And as he does, each symbol and it looks all mostly like musical notation. As he draws them in there, each one starts to glow that same color, and then he gets to the very end and completes the circle, and then that glow gets a lot more vibrant. And then he stands
Mm-hmm.
up and he makes a bit of a sweeping motion with his hand and the baton as if he were a conductor, and you can see that glow kind of spread a little bit. Like the shrine itself seems to be glowing a little bit as well as the markings that are on Chifley's belt and on his boot cuffs and on the cuffs of his sleeves. They're glowing ever so slightly. And then
Mm-hmm.
he makes a motion to JR,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to stand in the circle.
Um,
The music can flow freely.
they will very carefully, without like stepping on any of the markings or the circle itself, they will step into the circle.
Okay. Do you want to roll an Arcana?
I can. Cool. That's just flat. Neat. 18.
Beauty. Okay. So as JR steps into that circle, they can feel that this is old magic, and it's something that Chifley ticked off, like not ticked off as in annoyed, but like kicked off, started, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not Chifley's magic necessarily. It feels
Mm-hmm.
much older than that, and it's that sort of buffet of an unfelt but felt breeze kind of thing that they do in animation, where like magic glows up
Mm-hmm.
from below, that sort of thing. Um, and for the first second, there isn't anything, but then the synth of JR's theme and the piano and the xylophone and everything else just sort of starts coming in, and they can hear that like unsure trepidation, that excitement going, is this going to work, that build. And then as that
Yeah.
more of the music comes in and they get more excited, it just builds more and
Yeah.
more. So it's this self feeding loop of just forte, 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 forte.
Yeah, that feels very fitting for somebody who is um just like the more excited they get, the louder the synth and the stylophone and it all gets, and it's just like they have this huge grin on their face that like this is the coolest thing to them. They are incredibly excited and happy right now that like they were right, and also their theme sounds really cool, and it's also got it's got their instruments and it's got the instruments of their friends, and it's like it's it's very cool to them.
And Chifley's just smiling, like the joy that's coming from them hearing this music is just giving him the warm and fuzzies, you know?
Oh, good. We love to see it. Um, I think after a minute or so of listening to their own theme, JR looks up at Chifley excitedly and just goes, "Can we hear your theme?"
All right, scooch to the side a little bit and let me get in.
They will step either just over in the circle or they will step out of the circle entirely.
Well, Chifley will kind of motion for them to only move over, not to get out, because then the magic will stop and the music will be unheard.
They will step over.
Yeah, so he'll get in, and while there is the that's still that excited synth and everything that JR can hear from their own theme, because they're listening for Chifley's, their own theme kind of fades down a little bit. It like not in intensity or in excitement, but in just pure volume. Like it's still just the volume knob is just gone. And JR can hear that that violin, some strings and piano that just sort of rises, and it's kind of it's a calm, curious kind of vibe. There's no, like, it's not vibrant. It's definitely got some vibrancy to it, and it has some sounds to it that sound like they might be like the acoustics are like bouncing off glass or ice. And do you want to roll an insight?
Sure, I can do that. I already forgot what it was. I think it was it's a +1. Okay.
Well then,
21.
Nat 20,
Wow.
beautiful. All right, great. So there is, like, JR knows music, so that helps a lot, being able to pick all of those emotions that come out of the way that music is written and composed. And while Chifley does have an awful lot in that violin and a little bit of piano, that's all in like a major key, but then there's sort of this minor key that's underneath it with that glass flute sort of noise that he had mentioned in the background, and more strings just sort of that are low, and more of that echo, that acoustics that's been played, like the same sort of tune, the same motif, but underneath in a minor key. And that flute noise sounds added, like when you if someone was to be remixing a track and adding a new instrument on top. It sort of sounds like that, like it wasn't originally part of his theme.
I mean, on one hand, the JR is like, that's a little weird, but they do not know enough about the actuality of this subject to question it, nor do they know enough about this person to question it. They met him like 20 minutes ago. That's a problem they can unpack later. But they I'm trying to think. I think that, like, in the process of listening to Chifley's theme, they've sort of closed their eyes and they're just sort of like, they have this small grin on their face and they're just sort of listening to it and taking it in. I will say, however, that they will just stand there forever and listen to it if he lets them. So maybe he shouldn't.
Fair enough. I think Chifley will let JR stand there and just listen and appreciate for a good couple of minutes. And because that was a natural 20, as there is more, like, as there's that distinct appreciation for this sound, there is a hint of, like, quite happy that sort of sneaks into Chifley's theme. But then the music does start to fade out. Also, it's the same volume kind of thing rather than going into a resolution or anything like that. As the glow kind of starts to fade out, and those marks that Chifley had drawn in the ground inside that circle, they actually sort of fade away themselves, and the glow on Chifley's clothes, that stops, and the music stops. And Chifley looks a little tired, but he steps over the circle that was there but when you arrived, and steps back and then smiles. How was that?
That was amazing. Um, should I roll insight for JR to notice that Chifley looks tired?
You're welcome to. Well, actually, no, that nat 20 was for an insight, so you can just have it. Have it. Take it.
Okay. So they will immediately, like, upon saying that it was like amazing and that they loved it, they will notice that Chifley does look tired because wow, he sure did just like channel a lot of old magic through himself. So they will again reach into the top of their shirt and they're gonna pull out like a candy bar and offer it to him. And I know it's not the healthiest option, but you do kind of look tired, and sugar usually helps me.
I appreciate that. Thank you, JR. The ritual is not something I can sustain for very long. And the bigger the circle, the less time I'm able to hold it for. But this wasn't too bad. A nice small circle. Works fine. Thank you. And he will accept the candy bar and he'll open it up and he'll just sort of nibble on it. But do you want to roll a perception?
Sure, I can do that. With my full -1.
This one's not a very high. Oh.
Are you sure? 0!
You get nothing!
I rolled a nat 1 with a -1 modifier. I got a 0!
I can give you nothing for this. Oh no. Yes, well, Poppy, I know. I know you want attention. Can you get off, please? Yes. Get down. You're putting holes in my shirt. Thank you. I love you too, but you're pointy and annoying. Cats.
Do said that a cat wandered into frame. Jar doesn't see it. Yep. Jar sees nothing. Nothing is going on in their head.
Yeah.
They're too busy thinking about all the cool stuff that just happened. They can't see.
Yep, fair enough. All right. So, nope, JR doesn't notice that Chif's hair is mostly white. That's fine. Chif's fine. He's just tired. He'll be right. This one is not a stress-based one, so he'll be fine. And I mean that. Now you're knocking things off the desk. Good. Great. Dumbass.
As soon as you said that, I heard like a pencil or something hit the ground.
That was precisely what it was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Yeah, so Chifley will nibble on this bar and he'll head back over to his music stand and he'll flip the book open and he'll look through them and then look back up at JR. So, what sort of music do you play?
I'm gonna do this again. Hope that I don't roll another nat 1. Oops, it's a 10 out of 20. Cool. Okay, I didn't fumble. They again reach into the front of their shirt and they will pull out like, so like those kind of cheap like plastic CD cases that are like clear in the front and they've got like a solid color on the back and like a clear CD that you can write on. They will pull one of those out of the top of their, like out of the neck hole and hand it to him. And they'll say, our band's not very popular yet, but we're trying.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. And he'll accept the CD and he'll stick it in his pocket. And then he gets this sort of thoughtful look about him. And then he closes his music book and picks it up and offers it to JR.
They will look from the book to Chifley, back to the book, and back to Chifley, and just very hesitantly take it.
Chifley smiles when they do that. Music is to be shared. you shared some of yours with me. It's only right that I share some with you.
They're gonna like turn the book over and open it up and look inside.
It's full of sheet music written for like small ensemble pieces, and full orchestra pieces are in here. There's some with vocalists, there's some that's just instrumental. There's a good 30 songs in this book, and a lot of them are kind of in the classical kind of range, but there's a few more that are like jazz and a little bit poppier, but like they are full scores, full arrangements, cover to cover.
Like the only thing JR is giving me is like that one like SpongeBob gif where like they're looking at the map to the treasure. You know what I mean?
Give me 1 second. My doorbell just rang. Hold on.
Yes. I don't know how to do commercial breaks, but this sure is a commercial break. I can't believe I almost killed this twink with a handshake. Yes, that's the GIF. That is exactly the GIF. JR is doing the equivalent of that to this book. I can't wait to go into the RSJ chat and be like, so JR almost killed a twink, and have them both ask me what the fuck I'm talking about.
All right. I have a husband and child in the building again.
Hey, welcome back to all of you.
Yeah, so it's a big book of all sorts of different orchestral pieces and ensemble pieces and the whole shebang. Lots of variety in here.
Du has so kindly posted the gift that I was talking about in the gallery.
Yes.
But so JR is practically doing that. Not literally, but practically. You see their eyes darting over like each of the pages, and just after a minute of doing that, they sort of slow down and then just like very slowly look up at Chifley and just, are you sure you want to give this to me? It seems really important to you, and there's a lot in here.
It is important. That book belonged to my father and his band. But I'm very familiar with a lot of the songs in it, and I feel like it would be better served for you and your friends than simply as an offering for the soundtrack. They know all these songs too. So I'm happy to share it.
They sort of look back down at the book and whatever song it happens to be open to at the moment. And they're quiet for a minute, which seems very hard to believe given everything that you've gathered from this person so far, that they are able to shut up. They sort of just very carefully close the book and nod and just, they handed me a thought and then it went away. Shit. I'll be sure to use all of them.
I'm sure you'll enjoy them. My father and his band were always full of so much joy when they played these songs. And my sister isn't as interested, and I can't play the same way that they did. So I want you to use them and enjoy them. Spread that joy around. All right.
You have my word.
Chifley is smiling. He's definitely smiling. Do you want to do another insight?
Sure. It would be very cool if I could remember what that modifier was for like more than 2 seconds. That would be very cool if my brain would let me do that. 4. Damn it, JR.
You know what? Let him roll it with advantage. Why not? Give a second chance. Hey!
19. That's a lot better.
One of those things is not like the other. Yeah, so Chifley is happy, and he's giving you this book of music without hesitation. He doesn't regret doing that. But there is a little bit of melancholy in that. He's still a little bit sad about giving something that was his father's away. Especially given as JR may have been able to infer that his father is not alive anymore.
I don't know that they would. They might like later, but I don't know if they do right now. But I knew that, so
that's
I'm
fair.
sad.
But yeah, so there is a measure of sad nostalgia about the music book, but primarily he's happy that JR likes it and is going to go and use the music that's written in it. That makes his heart warm just a bit.
I think they will for now and for safekeeping, they will stick it in their hammer space just so nothing happens to it, because as previously mentioned, they are a klutz. They got their head stuck in a beehive once. Like, they don't want anything to happen to this book. So they will treat it with like a lot of respect because it was initially not theirs and they just got it. They don't know the full extent of what's in it like Chifley does yet.
Yeah.
They can't use it if they ruin it. So
absolutely.
They will nod and just I'll make sure everything in it goes to good use, and they will smile.
Chifley smiling back. Thank you. I'm glad. And I'm hoping that you found some enjoyment out of what the soundtrack has to offer.
Oh, absolutely. And they've got like their grin like extends, and they've got like a huge grin on their face now. Like, you do not need the real insight to tell that once they find a brain cell laying on the street, they're going to go to the library and see if they can find anything about this because they would like to know more about it.
JR finds religion, not JayJay.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, flippin' heck.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I did not have any thoughts for what came after this. I didn't get this far in my head. So.
No, me either. But I think it would be nice after they've had this really nice little heartfelt moment. Chifley grabs his lyre, not lute, lyre, and I'm going to roll him a performance. Let's see how good your performance is. Are you going to screw this up? You are not a bard, so let's see. Yeah, that's not great. I think Chif's still a bit tired, and the air is still a bit cold around him. So like that's... What's your performance? I feel less bad about your performance skill given as you're not a bard. But anyway, so it's only an 8. So like, there's not really anything tuneful about how Chifley is playing. He does still seem tired. He's sat down on the grass. But it's just more an idle plucking of the strings, more the motion and hearing each note rather than playing anything. He doesn't really have the energy for much more than that at the moment.
I think JR will just listen to that for a little bit, and I will also roll a performance and hope that JR does well because they do have a level in Bard. What the fuck, bro? So that's an 11. So maybe they don't make like a song out of it, but they do make, I would say, a melody of some kind with their two instruments combined. JR probably um fiddles with the synth a little too much to fully play in an attempt to find something that fits well with the lyre, but I
Mm.
feel like eventually they'll get like something nice sounding out of it.
Yeah, like even if they're just going through like a couple of chords in on repeat and then like they're just doing like harmonies with the synth and the lyre. Just something they're just mucking around. They're not really,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
suddenly in sync that they create
yeah.
this amazing masterpiece between the two instruments. No, it's they're just mucking around. It's fun.
Yep. Yes, exactly.
And I think that's the perfect place to leave them.
Yeah, this was very good.
Oh man, I love JR. JR is no brain cell, but so
Nope.
good.
I designed them specifically to never have a brain cell in their head. That's what Sarge and Rock Candy are for. They're the ones that can have the brain cells. JR's allowed to be stupid.
Oh,
Oh,
heck and
but this was
heck.
very good, and thank you for playing with me, and thank you to Do for listening, and thank you to whoever listens in the future to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was a good time. Thank you.
Yes.
Everyone have a nice
Yeah.
time zone. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.